Hello everybody, welcome back to the KotLC fanbase. My name is Austin and today's video is going to be looking over the best KotLC Sokeefe moments throughout all of the books. We all know that Unlocked is coming out next month and I'm super excited. I want to look back at all the Sokeefe moments, some of the best ones, so that we can get ready for the ones that are going to happen in Unlocked, and maybe even the Sokeefe ship actually might happen in Unlocked, so we gotta be ready. But before we look at all the great Sokeefe moments, make sure to drop a like if you are ready for Unlocked or you are a Sokeefe shipper. Comment down below what is your favorite Sokeefe moment in the book series, and also make sure to subscribe if you are not subscribed to this channel. We are getting close to 4,000 subscribers. We're only 200 away, so make sure you go and check that you are subscribed to the channel. It helps us out a lot. Also, if you want to check out some KotLC merch, go to our website at bit.ly/KotLC fanbase merch for awesome KotLC designs. Let's jump straight into the video. We're going to be starting off with the first book in the series, and we're going to look at some of the best Sokeefe moments in book 1. And book 1 didn't have as much Sokeefe moments because the book was pretty short, and that for like the first 100 pages, Sophie is in the human world. But the first Sokeefe moment is that when Sophie first meets Keefe, Sophie blushes when he says that he was grateful to skip class to actually meet Sophie, this new mysterious girl in Foxfire. That was one of the first shipping moments when they actually met up, when they were both in the halls of Foxfire. Also, a little bit later in the book, they were playing base quests, and then during the picking up teams, Keefe claims Sophie and places his arm around Sophie's shoulders. Also another shipping moment because he wanted to be on Sophie's team. And then later in the book, when Keefe finds out that Sophie's a telepath, he's really surprised and says that she is the most mysterious girl ever. And this is after the kidnapping, and he also says that she has to get well because school is super dull without her, meaning that he wants Sophie back in Foxfire so he can talk with her more. That was basically all of the Sokeefe moments in book 1, because remember, a lot of the book was when Sophie was in the human world, and a lot of the book was when Sophie was kidnapped, so there's not that much moments between them. But this is all I have in book 1. Now I'll be on to book 2. Alright, on to book 2. There's a little bit more Sokeefe moments in book 2. The book is longer and there's more alone time between Sophie and Keefe. So now I'm going to be getting over the first one. The first one is at the beginning of the book when Keefe was going to meet up with Sophie, but he was late fixing his hair, and then he excuses it by saying that he needs to look good for the ladies, so that means he's trying to look good for Sophie. And when Alden's mind broke and Sophie was, crying and upset, Keefe always comforted her and told her that she was going to be able to heal him. Also, there's a lot of Sokeefe moments when they were riding Sylvanie, and the first being that Keefe wrapped his arm around Sophie while they were riding Sylvanie. He also promises to Sophie that he will take care of her. And also, when Sophie curls in a ball and cries during exile, Keefe kind of comforts her and puts her head on his knee and tells her that she's the bravest person in the world. And then there are a couple more Sokeefe moments, but those were the main ones in exile. Now I'm going to be going over Everblaze. Alright, in book 3, the first Sokeefe moment is when Keefe drapes his hand over Sophie and tells Sandor that he will take care of her. Also, when Sophie holds Keefe's hand really tightly when they are teleporting. Also, Keefe gives Sophie his cape when Sophie is cold at the sanctuary, and when Sophie tries to return it because she sees that Keefe is also cold, and Keefe says that she deserves the cape because she has saved his life a lot of times. Also, when they find Greyfall in his sedated state, Sophie and Keefe are holding on to each other for a long amount of time, and Sophie blushes when she finds out that they were holding on to each other for a long time. Also, when Fitz and Sophie were doing cognate training, trust exercises, they were falling into each other's arms, and Keefe walked in at the perfect moment, finding them in each other's arms. And Keefe spent the rest of the day begging for himself to have a turn. And the last notable one in Everblaze was when Keefe cheered Sophie up by throwing sand at her, and they started a sand war. And that was the end of Everblaze. Let's get on to book 4, Neverseen. There was a lot of scenes in Neverseen because of the move into the Black Swan's hideout. I'm gonna get through those right now. When they were going underwater, Keefe offered to share his Lufrator with Sophie after Mr. Forkle said that, and they would have to have their faces very close together. Also, in this book, Sophie says that Keefe is one of the best guys she knows. Sophie also blushes when Keefe asks if she wants to have a demonstration of how he kissed Biana. And obviously, in the middle of the books, they had those window slumber parties where they just had a lot of time with each other, and was one of the main reasons I started to ship Sokeefe. And also, when Fitz says they need to split up into groups, Keefe grabs onto Sophie for his group. Also, when Sophie leans her head on Keefe's shoulder, Alvar comes up and says, "Aw, you guys are cute," and they both get embarrassed. And the last notable one was when Keefe and Sophie held hands when they watched Greyfall fly away. That was the end of Nightfall. Let's get on to Lodestar. There aren't too many shipping moments in Lodestar, but there are a couple, so I'll go over Lodestar right now. So when Keefe joined the Neverseen, he told Sophie in a telepathic conversation that he really misses Sophie and he wished he could be with her, and Sophie also says that she misses Keefe as well. And also when Sophie and Keefe meet up, after she was worried about Keefe in the Neverseen, she hugs Keefe as tight as she can and buries her head into his shoulders and cries. Also, Keefe says that nothing good has ever came from his mom, and then Sophie said, one thing did one of my favorite things, meaning that Keefe is one of Sophie's favorite things. Also, Keefe says that Sophie never looks bad, and Keefe holds Sophie tight when Mr. Forkful dies. So there was a little bit of Sokeefe moments in Lodestar, but the main one being the telepathic conversations and when they met up after Keefe ran away from the Neverseen. So now let's get on to Nightfall. Nightfall actually has a lot of shipping moments, so let's get straight into it. When Sophie is worrying about her parents being kidnapped by the Neverseen, Keefe promises to Sophie that he will get them back to her. Also, Keefe gives his cape to Sophie, insisting that Sophie can't freeze, but then Sophie didn't want Keefe to be cold, so she scooted closer to Keefe and pinned it around both of them. And then Tam says, guess we have a score for Keefe, and that was a pretty good moment. When Keefe and Sophie have a fight, Ro calls their fight a lover's quarrel, and then when Sophie tries to deny it, Keefe says that she is not ready to face her feelings. Another one was Keefe leans in close to Sophie and tells her that he is really sorry for what he's done, and he will do whatever to make it up for her. And the last one was when Keefe gave Sophie two paintings, one of Sophie and her adoptive parents, and one with her and her friends around Kahlo's pancake tree. And then Sophie tackle hugs him because she always loves Keefe's drawings, and that was one of the best moments in the Sokeefe ship because, you know, Keefe is so thoughtful for drawing those things when he knows that Sophie loves his drawings. But that was the last one in Nightfall. Let's get into Flashback. To be honest, there is not that many Sokeefe shipping moments in Flashback due to, you know, Sophie in the hospital for such a long time, and that actually Sophits happened at the end of the book and the start of Legacy, so there was actually a little bit of less Sokeefe ships in this book, which was kind of disappointing, but let's still get over them. At the start of the book, Keefe tells Sophie that she looks perfect and it makes her blush, and then Keefe squeezes Sophie's hands and interlaces her fingers to send a cool breeze to Sophie that he does with his empathy, and Sophie is reluctant to let go of his hand. There's only one more, so the last one was when Tam leaves with Lady Gisela for Neverseen. Sophie tells Keefe that Keefe can't blame himself, and Keefe pulls her into a hug, and that was kind of some of the only Sokeefe moments in Flashback. Now let's get on to the most recent book in the series, Legacy. Alright, so the most recent book, Legacy, I'm going over this now, and there's actually a lot of shipping moments. Even though Sophie and Fitz were together for like a half of this book, there were still a lot of awesome moments, and these were the most recent, so let's get into them. So the first one was thought of going into Keefe's room for the first time makes Sophie's cheeks warm, and then when she finally saw Keefe, she complimented Keefe's hair, saying that the beach look really worked for him, not that he needed improvement, basically saying that he was handsome. And then Keefe compliments her back, saying Sophie has a cute crease in between her eyebrows, so they both kind of complimenting each other. And then he also points out her feelings seem fluttery around him, so there's a lot of good moments in the first couple scenes with Sophie and Keefe together. And then when Keefe finds out that Sophie is unmatchable, Keefe comforts Sophie by saying that being unmatchable won't change anything, and at least to the people that matter, kind of making a statement that he doesn't matter about Sophie being unmatchable. He still likes Sophie for who she is, not on her status. And then when Keefe explains one of his theories about Sophie's biological father, Sophie gets upset, and then Keefe wraps his arms around her, and then Sophie sinks into his arms, where he lets Sophie cry on his shoulders. And then later in the book, Keefe says that Sophie is awfully cute in a crown, and Sophie blushes from head to toe. And then Sophie gives Keefe another compliment, calling Keefe's muscles impressive. And then again, Sophie comforts Keefe when he finds out about his legacy and how he's worried about what will happen with him and his mom, which shows they care for each other. And lastly, one of the last scenes in Unlock is when Keefe got knocked unconscious, carried Keefe, and then started running as fast as she can, and was saying like thoughts like she just needed to get Keefe safe and protected and wouldn't stop until she did so, which was a huge moment for Sokeefe shippers because that might be foreshadowing Sokeefe in the book 8.5 because of how much she cares for Keefe. Well, that was the last ship of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed these Sokeefe ships, and if you guys have any more Sokeefe ships that you really liked, make sure to drop them in the comments below. But let's get into the outro. Alright everyone, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you enjoyed remembering all these cool Sokeefe moments, make sure to drop a like down below. Remember, if you guys have any other Sokeefe ships that you guys remember and I did not cover in this video, make sure to comment them down below because I would love to see some more awesome Sokeefe ships because you know that I am a big Sokeefe shipper, so I'd love to see those. And also remember to subscribe to the channel. Only 30% of you guys that are watching this video right now are subscribed, and it would help us out super much if you can just take a couple seconds of your day and click that subscribe button. It would help a lot. If you want some KotLC related apparel, go to our merch store at bit.ly/KotLC fanbase merch to check out some Sokeefe designs, Sophie designs, and just so much more. You can just check that out in the link. And also one quick announcement for a future video. We're only 40 days away from unlock, and I want you guys to get your unlocked theories ready because this coming week I'm going to put a post out on the channel asking you for your guys' theories, and you guys will have a chance to be featured in a unlocked theories video. So make sure to think about some unlocked theories and kind of write them down if you guys want to be featured in a KotLC fanbase video. But that's gonna wrap it up for today. I had a great time making this video. I'll see you guys next week. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.